Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for another episode of Road Rage. For the new subscribers, Road Rage is pretty much that. It's non-scripted, just chat about thoughts that are going on my mind, usually comic books and games. So, and it's usually while I'm driving or walking and things. I have my hands-free set up here. I just put the phone on this little stand here, and my vehicle that you can't see, so why I just said that like you could is beyond me. And I talk, and I hope to get a nice conversation going with everyone who listens to it. It's a good kind of video to, if you're not wanting to watch necessarily the screen, you don't have to, though I do like to show Frugal Force art and things like that, so thank you guys all for those pictures. All right, and also before I jump into it, I mentioned just recently on Twitter, I'm going to mention it here again, Little Frugal noticed that there's a lot of Captain Frugal pictures and things, fan art, things like that, which I call it Frugal Force art. I don't like fan art, that term, because I think we're all a group. And with that said, if you want to make anything for Little Frugal and send it to me, I would love that. Okay, he loves it. A picture was made just recently on Twitter. The person said he didn't have any art skills. He just photoshopped Little Frugal's head on a Captain America picture. Well, I tell you what, Little Frugal loved it. It meant the world to him. That was really awesome, and it meant a lot to me too. So thank you. So thank you for taking the time to watch this. All right, so let's get into the fun of things, shall we? Wow, here's the thing. We see more, just like before, and always, there's going to be dissension in a group. Especially when the group is not really well defined. It's telling me where to go. By the way, it's a cold, man, it's what, 27 degrees? It might be lower than that. My vehicle is usually off. That thermostat on that thing is not the greatest anymore. But anyway, so it's cold. So, oh, crud, where was I? Oh, yes, Comicsgate. And my thought on this video is you never leave Comicsgate. Okay, because you have some people saying, I'm not Comicsgate. Well, okay. But here's the thing. Nobody really leaves Comicsgate. Now, you might go, well, yes, I did. No, maybe in that thought you did. But hear me out. If you ever said you were part of Comicsgate, you probably said it because of a certain set of ideals that you withhold. For example, I want good comic books that are not ham-fisted consistently with politics. I don't care if there's a little bit of politics here and there, okay? I don't, once in a while, especially if it's fair. If it's fair and balanced on both, giving both points of view and making the reader think, hey, you know what, I'm okay with that. I don't want it all the time. Most definitely don't want it all the time. Okay? And I don't want books, 9 out of 10 books being politics and telling me how I'm a fool because I voted one way or another. No, that's too much. I want minimal politics in books. I think there's room for everything. There's room for political books, and political satire books. And I think you can have all of that. And once again, if you disagree with me, please kindly disagree with me in the comments. Don't call me an a-hole or something. Tell me where I'm wrong here, okay? And that's perfectly fine, because there's another thing about Comicsgate. Comicsgate is diversity in thought. So if you don't agree with everything and everyone in Comicsgate, that's fine. You shouldn't. Who should? If we all agreed on everything, there should be a problem. Usually whenever you have everybody agreeing with something, the truth is people are afraid to speak up. Or they're just, at this point, mindless drones. And nobody wants that. And I do agree, I think we're in a new phase of Comicsgate. Before it was more of an uprising, making our voices heard about what we wanted to see in our comic books. And you know what? We succeeded. Let's be honest. We definitely have succeeded. We've done that. We've proven. We've shown that the majority of people that buy comic books are, rational people that don't want all this politics consistently in their book. Now, is there room for some? Yes, there is. There is some room. Okay? But it should not be dominating. I mean, if you have 10% representation in your comic books that fit 10% of your market, that's good. you need to fit as many of those markets as you can to make money. Absolutely, that's business. Okay, so yeah, is there room for an SJW comic book? Yeah, there is. Now, I'm not going to flat out 100% say that SJWs don't buy comic books. Hear me out, don't shoot me down yet. Okay, what I'm saying is there's not, how do I put this, enough SJWs buying comic books to support it. Most of the SJWs are just NPCs flapping their gums that don't represent the market. Okay, it's the true fact of it. Otherwise, those books would be selling better. Deal with it, Marvel. Deal with it, DC. Deal with Image. That's the truth. If they were truly buying comics, the sales would be better. Now, that doesn't mean they don't buy. None of them buy any comics. Sure, some of them do. I don't know, man. From the big uprising, supposedly, that they have been showing that they buy comics, I didn't see a whole lot of comics. I seen some trades. Yeah, and not really a whole lot either. So still the primary market is the more sane people. So that's, you know, the major focus. So yeah, they probably should have one or two SJW type comic books. They're gonna suck. They're not gonna be for you and me. And heck, you know what? We have every right, if we want to roast those puppies and have fun doing it. Okay? Absolutely. Tear them up. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about getting the West Coast Avengers and just to see if it really is bad as everyone says. If you want me to check out and review an issue of the Avengers, the West Coast Avengers, because I think one's out today, let me know. I'll probably pick it up digitally and review it that way, or wait and buy it on paper and review it that way. Either way, I have a feeling that it's going to go down. we'll see on that one. Maybe it'll surprise me. Who knows? So anyway, think about it. You went into Comicsgate for certain ideals and things. You wanted maybe truth in the comic book industry about sales. Maybe you wanted the consumer to be treated properly. Like, ready for this? The consumer should. And that's probably one of the biggest hits for me, was that and the constant political throwing in comic books. So you still have those same beliefs. You just don't agree with everybody in the group, so you leave the group. And that's okay, because every group has fringes. Everybody does. There's those extreme sides of everything, and maybe that turns you off, and that, once again, is okay. Because here's the thing. You don't have to have the label. We don't. As long as you hold those same ideals, it doesn't matter if you have the label or not, does it? No. You still want good comics, fine. You still want better art, fine. You still support those ideals. You still want less politics or fair and, you know, down the center politics that make you think. That's fine, or none at all, whatever it is. You still hold those ideals. That's what makes Comicsgate sort of a unique and a great thing. It's a group, it's a movement, and people, they love to use that as a bad thing now. It's a movement. It's a group of people that got together to be heard, because they weren't getting heard before, because they were being silenced. They were being silenced by the shill arms, the shill media arms of companies, because they didn't want, you know, they wanted to silence people that didn't agree with them about their comic books. You had a bad interpretation or a bad view about a comic book, and you put it up on a Marvel forum and things, it would disappear or get moderated out. Eventually, things got so bad in the Marvel forums, they shut the forums down on their own website because they couldn't handle the bad publicity. You've seen things like CBR and things that they'll shill and allow the writers and artists to call vile things to their customer base and say whatever they want without any recourse, because they knew it brought them clicks. But if somebody else brought a sane or intelligent viewpoint that counters what they said, instead of having to come back with a retort of some kind of with an intelligent way, they would be blocked, and harassed, or their post would be heavily modified and things deleted to help support the artist or writer. You know, in one case, what even happened to me is the moderator shared my IP address on one of those forums with one of the writers and things. Wonderful. Yeah, that's real professional there. At least because they divulged information that otherwise they couldn't have known. I'm not going to name names and things like that, but it happened years back. So there's a lot of nuttiness there. But here's overall the thing I've been saying again and again. If you joined into a group, this movement or whatever, with certain things in mind that you stand for, certain ideals, you still have them. And that's okay. We are all Team Comics, are we not? We all want good comics. We have different opinions sometimes about what a good comic is, and that's okay too. That's a fundamental difference we've had since we were all young. Remember when you were a young kid, or maybe you still are, and you liked an issue and somebody didn't, or you liked a hero and somebody didn't. Guess what? That's normal. That happens all the time. Guess what? We can still get along. But granted, there is certain fundamental ideals that we stand up for. For example, like me with Captain America. I stand up for a Captain America that stands up for the United States of America. I stand up for a Captain America that does the right thing. That's what Captain America does. He does the hard choices, the right things. He isn't a self-loathing, constant whining, blaming himself for everything. Sure, he'll blame himself if he makes a mistake. But the way the book is going right now in Captain America is just terrible. It has so many underlying things by a guy that doesn't like America, or is a completely different version of what America would be that doesn't match what the American ideals were in the first place. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this rant. What are your thoughts on Comicsgate? Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I wrong that as long as you have your ideals of what you were and you supported, you're still a member? You just might not be, you know, throwing up the hashtag and screaming at bloody murder for it, and that's okay. Is there any books that you like right now that are controversial because others hate? I've been showing the Hulk, the Immortal Hulk, and I don't like the writer. I think he's a jerk, but the book I think has been solid, and not everybody likes that, and that's, once again, okay. I know it's not 100% written in traditional character for the Hulk. It's not. But also, there's an underlying thing with the Hulk going on right now, is making him be different. So I think that's part of it, but there is more to it than that too. Overall, I want to know, what do you like? So go ahead and share that. What's controversial? What do you like? What you don't like? How are you Comicsgate? Are you not? And if so, what ideals do you still hold anyway? That, as I said, it's what you still truly are. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. Also, if you want to help support the Frugal Force, you can help us for as little as $1 a month in our Patreon. We really could use it. It's down a little bit now from what it was been, but it's still okay. We use that money to do reviews and things like that. We get the materials as well as update materials for our reviews so we can do better reviews. Currently, I'm saving up to try to get a better computer because I want to do more independent comic reviews and show a lot more of their work, but I'm having a hard time doing it with my processing power. I'm trying to really up my game here, but unfortunately my computer can't do it. I've done multiple tests and I tend to think that's what it is, but I hope I'm right. Otherwise it's my internet, so only time will tell. If that's the case, I don't know, maybe I have to up my internet, but I don't think that's too possible because my internet provider, I used to have it upped and I didn't see any noticeable difference. So anyway, thank you guys so much for taking the time to help me. Also, if you want to continue to help support the channel too, and you can even get gifts for yourself or for others, you can go to captainfrugal.redbubble.com. That's captainfrugal.redbubble.com, where you can get Captain Frugal merchandise, such as pillows, coffee cups, shirts, and things like that. And we greatly appreciate it once again to all new subscribers and old. Spread the word. And until next time, keep it frugal.